As a parent, most of us want our children to be successful and have the skills they need for when they become adults. There's a lot of controversy regarding what should a parent teach versus what does a teacher actually teach. So these are my opinions on what skills I do think are important for parents to at least cover. Within our household, we have responsibilities that we have to stay on top of to keep our house running, such as budgets, groceries, and cleaning. These are all things that our children can 100% be a part of. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we could do that. And I'm going to be honest, as a parent, am I 100% the best at budgets? No, my husband and I still work on it. It's something we have to work on. And it's okay on all of these things I talk about to tell your children, this is something I'm still working on, but I want you to be a part of it. Because adults aren't perfect. And it's also to show our children that as adults, we are still learning too. I don't have 100% of everything figured out all the time, but I have the skills and ability to overcome anything I need to know or learn. I would sit down with your child and just go over, we have to buy groceries for the week, and here is somewhat of our budget. And then if you want, your child could have an allowance. They could also have a budget that they have to be in control of. Taking your child to the grocery store, looking at ounces. Okay, this jar is 16 ounces. However, it's cheaper to buy 2 little ones, but the 2 little ones are bigger than the big jar. So actually we save money by buying 2 little ones. So little things like that make a huge difference. Or, hey, let's read the ingredients on this jar compared to this jar. They're the same exact thing. This one's like 2 cents cheaper. Especially in today's economy, that's something we probably should talk to our children about. And lastly, the cleaning aspect. We all have to clean. That's just part of life, right? We have to clean up our dishes to have dishes. We have to clean up our bathroom. All of these things are an important part of learning about life. So it does not hurt to have your child be responsible for their bedroom. Maybe every Saturday at 10 a.m., I'm cleaning my bedroom, you're in your room cleaning your bedroom, right? And you need to physically tell your children how to clean. One thing as a teacher that taught me is sometimes we have to break down the simplest tasks for children to understand, and that's okay. But when we throw our child in their room when it's a mess and we say, go clean it, they're like, what do I do? So maybe you say, okay, let's start by getting everything off the floor, put it in a basket. Then you're going to go to that basket and you're going to put everything away. But your dresser looks a little dusty. So here's some cleaner for your dresser. Clean off your dresser first, then you're going to put your stuffed animals back on it. Sometimes children need that step by step because they can feel overwhelmed and they don't know how to move forward. So again, the budgeting, the grocery shopping, the cleaning, these are all tasks that we as adults can do like that, but children need that guidance to figure out how to do it. And I will say that I hear a lot, well, teachers should teach this and teachers should teach that. I tried to teach budgeting in my classroom. I had a money management system and I think it worked well. But nothing is the same experience of actually living it. A child actually lives in their house. A child actually has to eat groceries their parents eat. So when you make it a part of everyday life, a child is more excited to learn about it than if I'm just a teacher saying, we have to buy groceries. It's just not the same. A second skill that we should talk to our children about is taxes. Honestly, I'm a teacher. I'm not going to sit with my 5th graders and tell them how to do taxes because I use a program. That's okay too. So I would sit down with your children when you use the program. I know that some parents want to keep privacy on things, but just say, every year I have to file taxes. It's part of the law. So I sit down in my chair with mom or dad and we go through and we file our taxes. And so when you grow up, you'll have to do this too. Such as when you have a job, you're going to get a piece of paper at the end of the year that says how much you made from that job. You also have to have this and this paper to do your taxes. So these are all real world examples your children can see compared to, again, me just being a teacher. If I just go through something once with a child, honestly, it's not going to stick unless I do it over and over or I come back to it. So a child, you do this every year, this is something they're going to be like, okay, this is a real thing. My parents actually have to do this. And I know that sometimes people also get their taxes done for them. That's fine. Tell your child, Mom and Dad get our taxes done by this place. Here's a folder of what we bring and we drop it off. There you go. And again, these are all skills that children are going to have to know because I don't see taxes going away every year, but your child should know that this is a part of them becoming an adult, or you are still claiming them as a dependent. At least they know what things they have to hold on to for taxes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with high schools going over this and high schools also teaching this. But again, I think them seeing it every single year by a parent is more influential. The third thing I think we need to teach our children is how to advocate for themselves. Children don't know how to advocate for themselves. So let's teach children how to order at the restaurant, I go to get my oil done at the car place. I bring my child and say, this is what I tell the mechanic I need to get done. And I notice this a lot because I grew up having to physically call people on the phone, but the children in our generation don't have landlines anymore. These are all skills we have to do as adults. My son has a medical disability, and so when he turns 18 years old, he's going to have to make sure he stays on top of insurance as far as calling them, making sure he's staying on top of his medication getting delivered. All of these things he has to learn how to do. I will always be his mother, and I will always be there for him, but once he's an adult, a lot of times you can't call anymore for your children. He doesn't have a mental disability, so he is capable of calling on these things and advocating for himself. He has a blood disorder. So when he's in school and he hurts himself, he has to let the teacher know, hey, my knee really hurts. I have a blood disorder. Can I call my mom? He has to advocate for himself. Okay. I do not, personally for me, expect the teacher to ask him every single hour, are you okay? She has enough on her plate. As a teacher, I had about 30 different things in my mind every 15 minutes. As a teacher, I often would have parents call me upset about their child didn't feel good, or their child didn't do this, or they didn't do that, but the child never mentioned it to me. And I can't read anyone's mind, and I wish I could. And I would tell my students that also. When I was a teacher, I would sit and teach a lesson with students on how to advocate for themselves. If you don't feel good, just tell me. I can't read your mind. And so this is another important skill. I think as parents, we really have to sit down and work with our children on how to advocate for themselves. And this last one, I know there's going to be so many people that are like, nope, I don't think children should learn how to do that. But I think children should still learn how to write letters, how to write a check, or get a money order. And you're thinking, who uses these? I do. With my son's medical disability, we have to send stuff all the time in the mail, and I have to know how to do that. And there are certain programs for insurance, things like that. You can only send money or check in the mail. That's it. Or sorry, money order or check in the mail. There's no online system. So I do believe check and money orders for right now still are here. And if I didn't know how to write that, I would have to learn how to do it myself, which is still fine. But there's nothing wrong with children learning how to address letters. And also know, as parents, we feel overwhelmed a lot in life. And it's also okay to tell our children, I'm doing the best I can. Mommy is still learning. I'm still learning. I don't know everything, but I can learn. That's one thing I'm doing as a parent, is I'm still learning. So why don't you learn with me? My concern is we have a lot of young adults who weren't taught basic skills. And that's not helpful for anybody. And we want to also teach our children, if you don't know something, you can learn it. You can learn how to do this specific skill. And this is hard for me sometimes as a parent who has a son with a blood disorder, because someday I'm going to have to let the reins go, and he's going to have to learn how to take care of it himself. And I have to teach him how to take care of it himself. We do need to give our children at least some type of exposure to these skills. And I wish as a teacher, I could bring all 32 of my students to the grocery store, but that's still not as influential as actually sitting down with your child as a parent and talking about why this is important. A lot of children just don't have buy-ins. Like, why do I need to know this? What's the importance? That's my perspective on certain skills we should be teaching our children. Please, if I did not mention something, leave it in the comments below. I might make a part 2. Always leave comments, questions, concerns. Subscribe, like this video if you have not already, and I hope everyone has a beautiful day.